Hello, grade fives. Welcome to Unit of Inquiry on Wednesday, May 6th. To start this activity, I want you to take on a role and to just close your eyes and think for a minute. I want you to imagine that you are an environmentalist and a recycling enthusiast. So perhaps you already really care about recycling and the environment, but if you are not a recycling enthusiast, I want you to just pretend that you are right now. So I want you to imagine that it is recycling day. You've just put your blue bins out with all of your recycling to be picked up. As you watch the recycling truck pull away with all of your recycling, you're feeling pretty good about yourself and how you're helping the earth and cleaning all your recycling and getting it ready. But little did you know, some of your recycling isn't being recycled. Instead, it's ending up in the same place as your garbage. As a recycling enthusiast and environmentalist, how does this make you feel? What emotion do you have? Today, we're going to be looking at the problem with our waste and recycling in Canada and around the world. Recycling itself is like a business. It's not just about helping the environment by making something used into something new, it too has to do with money. So here we see another connection to our central idea. The culture and economics govern competing perspectives on natural resources. So today we're looking at how economics, the money behind recycling, is governing our perspectives on natural resources. How is that idea of money influencing our use? Until 2018, China had been the world's #1 recycling market, meaning people sold their recycling to China, where China bought up many countries' recycling. But China has closed its doors to plastic waste and certain waste, which could result by 2030 in more than 100 million tons of trash with nowhere to go. When China stopped taking this waste management companies began telling towns, cities, and counties that there is no market for their recycling, so someone to buy their recycling. So some municipalities were left with two choices: pay higher amounts of money to get rid of the recycling, or just throw it away. An interesting fact about our recycling and our plastics: since the early 1950s, humans have produced 18.2 trillion pounds of plastic since this large-scale production began, and lots of it has unfortunately ended up in the trash. That weight is equivalent to 1 billion elephants or 250,000 Empire State Buildings. Nearly 80% of that plastic now resides in landfills or the natural environment. It's a lot of plastic. Let's look a bit more at some of the problems with recycling and how recycling is connected to money. The recycling model in many countries, unfortunately, has been broken, and one of the main problems is the cost of recycling itself. It costs money to collect and process the recycling. So the collection itself is quite expensive. There's costs associated with running the collection operation, including picking up the materials at the curb, transporting it to a processing facility, and then sorting it. This involves money, it involves paying people to do work, training people, the maintenance of the vehicles, the gas that the vehicles need. So quite a few things just in the collection of it. Then once the collection is done, there are costs associated with processing the recycling. Local sorting and processing facilities are often open 24 hours in some areas. These facilities are where the material collected from recycling containers is sorted and then bundled into unique sort of piles that are then ready to be transported to hopefully be sold somewhere to be made into something new. There's constantly new people and technology that are needed to separate the material. And one of the big costs associated with this is that some of the material that is recycled is not cleaned properly or is in the wrong bin. So you need people to pull it out because it doesn't belong there. Then the next issue is the value of the recycled material. This is the cost associated with the sale of recyclable materials. If there's nobody to buy it, what do you do with this stuff? So in 2018, that became a big problem because China was no longer buying what was being recycled. So people ran out of money to pay for the collection and processing, or they didn't know what to do with it because they had nowhere to send it. Today we're going to look at some of these problems. We're also going to quickly talk about BC. In British Columbia, we're very lucky because we have a really great recycling system. It's not perfect, but it's better than many others. Does BC have such a great program? Well, in BC, the producers pay. What does that mean? To cover the cost of recycling, Recycle BC makes the business owners pay a fee for packaging they create, which is eventually going to end up in someone's blue bin. So the people who make it are the ones who are funding it. One of the biggest challenges for recycling programs is dealing with the garbage or other non-recyclable materials that end up in the system, which is called contamination. This is what happens if some, let's say, spaghetti sauce spills onto your newspapers, or it spills onto like an old pasta box. This contaminated paper can't either be recycled, or if it can still be recycled, it has to be downcycled and turned into something of a lower quality. BC has a much lower rate of contamination. Though it still happens, in BC we don't have as many items that are contaminated and can't be made into something else. Because we have this low contamination rate, it means that our province has really excellent recycled materials that are of high quality, which makes them easier to sell and therefore make money to help us run this. So today we are going to look a bit more at the different issues with recycling in our country and around the world, and also with our waste. And we'll see what you get out of this today. Let's have a look at what you are going to be doing. Today you're going to watch 2 videos and you're going to take some notes. You will watch 2 more videos tomorrow and then take notes on the same paper. So today, if you're printing the paper, you will print out and you're only going to work on the first 4 boxes at the top, which I have highlighted here. If you have a printed package that you picked up from Virginia's house, or I dropped it off to you, this paper is not included and you will either need to print it, or I have included an option for you to type. So don't look through the printed package you have, it is not there. So you will have this paper, The Trouble with Our Waste. You're going to watch the videos and we want you to be a thinker when you consider the different perspectives of each video. You're going to record some problems about the waste being generated, as well as any problems you hear about recycling. So in this first box here for video 1, any problems with our waste that you notice. In this box, same video, any problems you heard about recycling in this video. And each video is about a different part of the world. So you may find that you have lots of information here and not very much here, and that's totally fine. Maybe you have in the second video almost no information about waste, is only about recycling. Okay, no problem, only fill this up with notes here. You are going to be using this information to help you on Friday and next week, so make sure you have clear notes. I hope you enjoy the videos and I hope you learned something new about recycling today.